Hi, my name is Megan Wolf. I'm 16 years old and I have NMO. I was diagnosed with neuromyelitis optica when I was 15 in spring of 2016. I cannot believe it's already been 1 year with this chronic illness. It's crazy because as long as I've had it, it feels like that. And especially with the days where I had to endure so much with this disease, even those long times feel like seconds. Today I want to talk about the biggest thing I've learned throughout this whole journey, throughout this whole entire year of having a chronic rare disease. What I've learned throughout this entire experience is that I'm stronger than I think I am. With the onset of NMO, it was really hard to figure out that that was what it was. The biggest problem I had faced symptom-wise was I wasn't able to eat and I was progressively losing weight due to the fact that a lesion in my spinal cord was causing me to feel nauseous every time I ate. I couldn't even put a bite of food in my mouth and my parents were extremely worried. People were jumping to assumptions that I had anorexia. Even the neurologist that first took care of me when I was in the hospital thought I had anorexia or an eating disorder and I was just making it up and it was all in my head. Then we came to find out that that wasn't the case, but it was very hard emotionally to have to deal with the fact that so many people were jumping to assumptions that I had anorexia when I knew I didn't. But how was I supposed to tell them that? How was I supposed to get them to believe me? It was very, very difficult, and even for the shortest amount of time, my parents were starting to believe that maybe I had anorexia because I could not eat. They thought I was forcing myself to not eat, but the truth of the matter was I couldn't. After the onset, all the random symptoms I'd had, including hair loss, weight loss, nausea, dizziness, blisters and rashes across my chest, feet, arms, back, having hard times with temperature change, trigeminal neuralgia. After all of that, I ended up starting to go paralyzed. And that was definitely the scariest moment of my life. There have been so many scary moments, but that has to be one of the top things that was the most frightening to me. I had this very weak feeling in my legs, almost like my legs were like twigs, like they could snap at any moment. And I started getting a pins and needles feeling in my toes, then in my feet, then all the way up to my knees, and then it got to the point where it went all the way up to my waist. So I was numb from the waist down. Luckily, I had plasmapheresis done right away and it reversed my symptoms, and even though it took some time, I eventually got all the feeling back. Things seemed to be getting a little bit better once I had the plasmapheresis and steroids to take down the inflammation on the lesions. After a few months, I started having a relapse, and at first we caught it very early. I was starting to go paralyzed once again. We went into the hospital and started plasmapheresis, and they decided to make the decision to send me home. The day I get home, I start to not feel very well, and I don't really think anything of it. I just think that I'm really tired. And the next morning, I went to go get my plasmapheresis treatment outpatient, and I threw up right when I stood up in the morning. A few hours went by and I wasn't throwing up again, but then after those few hours, that's when it really started and I could not stop throwing up. And then now we know that that was a lesion in my spine causing me to keep throwing up consistently over and over and over and over again. They were able to get the nausea under control. Plasmapheresis reversed the symptom of all that vomiting. Since my relapse, I have not had any more, and I'm slowly starting to get to a point where I'm feeling more normal. Throughout all of this, it's been very hard to cope. And one of the things that really helped me was finding my passion for makeup. Last year and this year, I've really been pushing myself to do very avant-garde, dramatic body painting. I'm trying to improve my artistic abilities and get myself more involved in the arts, because art is what makes me feel more like a normal person and more like myself. With filming my videos, there came this sense of calmness. When I would do my makeup, and I would especially do the crazier looks, I didn't have to think about the NMO, and I didn't have to think about what was going to happen in the future and what I would have to worry about. All of that stress seemed to just like fade and melt away, and I could just focus on doing the makeup look and taking the final pictures and editing it and feeling happy. When I started to discover that I loved makeup, it gave me such confidence and made me feel so much better about myself. The fact that I could create something that nobody had created before, and I could go into my mind and just think about all of these ideas and express them through makeup. I got to go to LA for the NMO Patient Day provided by the Guthrie Jackson Foundation, and it was just crazy to meet all of these people that thought I was inspirational and helped them get through some tough times, and it's just, like I said, crazy. I loved it so much and I want to go back whenever I get the chance. It was an incredible experience. To end this video, I just want to say that if you feel like you can't get through something because something is too difficult or too stressful or it's worrying you and bothering you, just know that if you tell yourself that you can do it, you can pull through. You can persevere. I have learned to advocate for myself and speak up against NMO because we need to try to find a cure. Because this disease is so rare, there's not many voices to share their stories. But even though we're such a small number, we still have big voices. We should still speak up and we should still educate others about neuromyelitis optica. If you're watching this, you are strong and you can pull through. Thank you so much for watching. Much love.